Okay, so this is the wood burning stove that's in the kitchen. All of the wood burning stoves basically have a pot on top of them. It generally has water in it, and it should always have water on it. You shouldn't, do it without water. Either take it off or fill it with water, because it just adds humidity and also just kind of, it's just a nice thing for the house. This wood burning stove actually has a very kind of peculiar thing about it. A couple of them actually. One, the handle to open it up can only go, when it's closed, it can only go to the right and open it up. It'll turn the other way, but what happens is that you can keep turning it and then it actually gets out of alignment. So when you open it, you're gonna turn it to the left or the right. When you close it, you turn it to the left and it gets nice and tight. So once you have it open, there are two different controllers for this. One on the right, and they both look the same. One on the right and then one on the left. The one on the left actually opens the flue. You can hear it open into the actual flue that goes up. When you're starting a fire, when you're using it, in general, almost all the time, we use it as more of a fireplace than we do as a wood burning stove. That should be pulled forward. And then if you're shutting it down for the night, and I'll show you later, or you're using it actually as a wood burning stove, you would push it the other way. The one on the other side is exactly the same thing. When you're using it, just as in general, if you're starting it, using it as kind of a fireplace, you make sure that this is forward, okay? So what I generally do is take like 4 or 5 crumpled up pieces of paper, and there's always paper here or in the mud mill, and put it in the middle, and take these 4 pieces of the fat stick or the fire stick stuff, and just kind of put them on top, and then take a couple of the pieces of the kindling that's been busted up. It's not too big, or else it doesn't really work very well. Take like 3 pieces or 4 pieces of that. And then generally, when you're starting it, you just take 1 or 2 of the logs, put them in. And again, both of the things are turned to the forward edge. And then you light it up. And it'll generally take only a minute or 2, and this thing will literally get cranking because of the fat sticks, and also because it draws a lot when it's going through. So once this is going, there's a couple things about it. You always, once it's up and running, you always want to have the screen on it. But it's true as well that you always have to have one of these, it's really like a metal pad, it has kind of aluminum covering on it, in front of every one of the stoves. So because they will like kick sparks out, and obviously it's all wood burning, wood floors, which would go up like crazy. Once this thing is going and you want to just kind of have it secure, if you take this screen, this is the other thing, it's a little odd. You see it has this kind of edge that runs up through here that's shaped just like the screen. If you kind of set it in there and then push it in, it has a little spring on each side that works. But believe me, if you don't actually get it set into this kind of groove right there, then it actually always feels like it doesn't even fit. But it does, and you have to just kind of fiddle with it. So when you want to shut it down, or if you were leaving the house and you wanted to shut it down and it to be safe, you would literally close the doors. Again, this can only really go one way to make sure that it's secure. And you turn them both back. And what that does is it restricts the flow of air through it dramatically, and it won't ever get overheated if you do that. So again, if you look, it's already cut the flame way down because of the restricted airflow. And if you open it up, it immediately lights back up again. And so again, what we generally are doing is leaving it open on both sides, which means they're turned forward, right? And with the screen on it, right? Fill it up in there with the screen on it and the thing in front, and it's basically safe. And it does get very hot, so don't put your hand on top. Once it's doing that, there's also a blow poke thing that you can maneuver wood around with and blow through it if it's not doing well. That's it. That's number one.